Hello, hello, hello from my office where I'm getting ready to teach my Vision Mapping 2025, my last vision mapping workshop of the year, and I'm thrilled about it. What I'm even more thrilled about is that I am ready with an hour to spare. And anybody who knows me knows that I push it to the last minute. So something has changed. And I feel pretty darn good about it. Yesterday, I came to you live here on YouTube, although I was busily prepping for this workshop today, and I had my Instagram on live, and so there was no speaker there. So thank God I have accountability buddies, business accountability buddies in my life. Somebody sent me a message on my Alignable account and said, "Hey, I listened and you couldn't hear anything." And I had no idea. That's one of the glitches of life, right? Technology. And I could either beat myself up and really get wound and spun out, or I could keep moving forward. And because I am a believer of my vision mapping process, I had tasks that I had to do this morning at 6 a.m. I really couldn't get down about it. And that is the power of creating a really detailed plan where you tap in to your heart and then you use your head to create and map out actions to help you get to your goals. And I find what happens in my own life as well as the lives of those that I teach, the ones that stay accountable, they add accountability, whether that's hiring a coach, having business accountability buddies, having a mentor, somebody that they can bounce stuff off of so that when the shitty committee, that's what I call it, shows up, they can talk it through instead of run away or pivoting. Or for some of you and me, depression seeps in quickly and that self-doubt. The power of the vision map is to create actions. And when we take actions, whether we believe them or not, there's something tricky that happens in our subconscious and it gives us confidence. Actions help create confidence. When you're taking actions, you're not sitting around thinking about the negativity. And so that's the power of the vision mapping process. And I'm sort of using this as a little springboard before my event today to share with you my story. And I'm gonna do it and try to do it in 5 minutes. The story that I'm gonna share in my workshop today. I think it's really important to share that everything might look rosy and beautiful, the travel, the husband, the houses, the dogs, the friends, the stuff. And I think it's even more important to share the reality of what goes on in somebody's life. And for me, I have battled depression all my life, and I've battled the shitty committee all my life. And so, what I've learned is by taking these actions, by setting yourself up to move forward, when you fall down, it's easier to get back up and going. And I fell down hard. It really started really December. And I started putting more and more pressure on myself. I could feel it. And in January, I got into a really sticky place and my confidence was very low. and I was starting to get very critical of my husband. And we did a road trip from Alaska to Western New York. It was on my bucket list to spend a summer in the RV at my parents' house on the Niagara River. And so we drove for 2 weeks, the two of us and our rescue pup, Chansey, to Grand Island, New York, where my parents live. And I told him I basically want to leave Alaska after 27 years. I've had it, I'm done. And there was sort of, I just sprung it on him. By the way, I'm done. I want to leave. I want to leave by this date. I'm done. And I'm married to a very logical, one of the smartest men on the planet. Um, and he's a finance guy. So he had been watching my business and he asked me a serious question. He said, "Hey, Trace, what are you doing to contribute financially to our household?" And here's the beautiful thing. My husband doesn't really care what I do for a living. He knows me well enough to know that depression can get me really quickly and that I need to have something purposeful in my life. And so he said, what are you doing to add to income wise? And I started crying and I wanted to get out of the RV. I wanted to leave him. I wanted to run. And we were somewhere in Canada on a road to nowhere. No, there was nowhere to run. And I had to sit there. And he said, and I said, I'm looking for jobs because I had been. I'd been sending my resume out. And I'm wondering if any of you can relate. What was happening here for me was the fear was so intense. And when the fear gets so intense, I want to go under the covers. I want to run. I want to hide. I want to throw everything out that I'm doing and get away from that feeling. Can anybody relate? Okay. So he said, Trace, what if you could do anything in the world? What would that be? And I didn't answer. I'm sure I carried on for maybe the rest of the day, maybe a couple hours. We have a hard time staying angry at each other. He planted a seed into my head, and I tapped into my own vision map, which I'd been doing my vision maps for years. And here's the key. I would do a vision map, and then I would get going, and then I'd sort of switch gears and move in a different direction. So what that tells me, if I was coaching me, was that my purpose wasn't big enough to keep me on the pathway, to keep me moving forward. See, your purpose needs to be so big that you want, not need, that you want to take actions. And those actions can often be really painful actions. My story is nothing in life has come easy. It takes work, it takes time, it takes consistency, right? So I got to my parents and I was asked to do a book signing at the local bookshop. And the fella, I really trust him a lot. He's a real estate guy. And he said to me, I've gotten to know him over the last couple of years. He said, I'm really confused. I don't have a clue what you do. I see books, I see Eddie's book, I see your vision map book, I see vision mapping, I see coaching. What the heck do you do? We bounced some ideas around, and it became clear that I wasn't running a business. I had a hobby. And it was time for me to tap into my business and to start treating myself as an employee of the business, to show up and do the work necessary to create a robust, thriving, income producing business. And so that was what I did. I grabbed a couple people. My niece helped, my neighbor, best friend helped, her daughter helped, my mother, who hasn't known what I've done for years. So she was my perfect candidate because I would bounce ideas off of her until she could understand what my business's purpose was. We came up with a name and a logo. I collaborated with somebody on my website, and Journeys Insight was created. Guess what happened immediately? Because I was taking these uncomfortable actions, I was networking, I was branding myself as a business, I was working. I was hired to a women's therapy, physical therapy 10-day retreat that somebody contacted me. They were putting on in the south of Spain, and she hired me via Zoom to do my workshop. Somebody in Orlando, Florida was doing a women's wellness workshop. And so as soon as I drove back to Alaska, I caught my breath and hopped on a plane and zoomed off to this wellness retreat. Since then, I've been collaborating with coaches, with consultants, with real estate companies, with organizations on my workshops, developing and bringing my workshops all over the globe. My confidence has soared. Not always, right? But it's way better than it was back in December. I feel purpose filled. And that, my friends, is what I want for you. If you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling like you have ideas and you don't know which way to turn, you're all over the place. You've come to the right place. My vision mapping framework will guide you to create a 90-day plan. Why 90 days? Because you can measure it. You can celebrate those wins. You can make those goals realistic so that you can achieve those goals and measure your progress 30, 60, 90 days. Keep it real. So it's not so far out there. Who out there's made goals and you've put them so far out there that you get frustrated somewhere along the way, whether it's weight, exercise, money, hobbies, whatever. So you can keep them really, really tight in 90 days. Take actions. Those that hire somebody to stay accountable to or have accountability built into their life, those are the ones that exceed beyond their wildest dreams. So, my friends, what are you waiting for? Are you ready to get busy and create your vision map? Let me know how I can help you, help your company, help an organization. It works in all aspects. And my goal for 2025 is to bring my workshop to 300 individuals, organizations, retreats, and eventually to brand my framework so that I can teach others how to do it, sort of train the trainer. So there you have it. Thank you so much for listening today. Please, please, please click subscribe. Comment, let me know where you're at with your goals, your dreams, your desires, and or if you need help finding them, because they're in there. They're in there. And they're just waiting to get out and to live. All right, my friends. Thanks for joining me today. Until next time, thank you.